Hey, it's been a little bit over a year since my last devlog for Megaman Ancients, and the reason I wanted to learn to draw is because concepting out stuff in 3D takes way too much time. So yeah, let's get into it. One other note, this book is divided in half because I started one side and then I started on the other side like an idiot. So this is the stuff that led me to be like, hey, I need to learn to draw because I started concepting in 2D after I realized 3D is way too slow, and I realized I don't know what things look like, which is weird. You don't know what things look like until you start drawing, and then you're like, oh wow, I don't know what anything looks like. Mechanics like dodging and shooting within the first tutorial areas of Mega Man, and then well, of the fan game that I'm working on, and then different just other like tutorial stuff, just learning how to do things, kind of figuring out how to introduce different Reaver bots in, kind of natural ways alongside the abilities that you'll have in this game, because it is going to be a bit different than the old Mega Man Legends games that they're based off. Oh, by the way, I'm going to go through this notebook. This is the first sketchbook I did. I have two more that I've been working on, but this is the first year. And then I'm going to go into some digital stuff that I also did over the past year, which is equally bad, but I hope at least it'll show you how fast you can learn to draw if you want to. Back then I thought this was awesome, which I still do. It's still really cool. It still does inform the stuff that I am doing and was doing on Mega Man Ancients. This is now getting into kind of the more fun stuff, which is the ships and the tower itself, which I think is much cooler. This is the main city inside the tower, kind of laying out what it might look like. The name of the city is Port City because it's a main port of the Mega Man Legends world, or rather the moon. Another little iteration of what the layout of Port City might look like. And just more drawings like that. And then this is probably around November. My coworker and I kind of came to the decision that he would teach me, or he would act as my mentor, and I would learn from him because he was looking to see what online teaching looks like, and I was looking to learn to draw, so worked out. I was watching Kim Jong-gi videos on YouTube a lot, and said, let me get one of those. So I did, and it was pretty cool. It is pretty cool still. I actually really like it. Just more concept of what the environment might look like, and then I started getting into like battle concepts. Even another layout for Port City. I still don't know what it's going to look like, really. Sort of the storyboard for the end of Mega Man Ancients. I had a beginning about a year ago, and then maybe half a year ago, or about a year ago, I had it ending. Right. So now the problem was what happens in the middle. And now we're at the point where we're going to go to the other side because I started, I'm still life drawing here, but I started life drawing and doing more academic learning because it just made sense. I was going through how to draw. It's a great book. I should not have gone through that first because that was not the right book to go through first for someone who does not know how to draw whatsoever, but it has some great stuff on perspective and like the more academic side of perspective stuff. I went to Vermont in November of last year. Another environment drawing, also in Vermont. It was totally misty. Couldn't see anything at the top of this mountain besides the fog, which was pretty cool. So this is now starting from Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards, and that book is wild. It opened up my mind so much. Pre-instruction, quote unquote, drawings. This just self-portrait, and then this just to kind of see where you're at before you start learning to draw. And I was really happy with this. I was like, wow, I'm freaking amazing. And like now I see all the problems. Although I still do think this is pretty damn good compared to this was terrible. And then this was way yikes. A quote from the book, which is actually quoting another book. It says, in drawing the distinctive handwriting or artistic personality revealed by the myriad decisions made consciously and unconsciously by an artist while creating a work. So basically just saying that style is, it's basically your handwriting, right? Like, look at my handwriting right here. You know, it's not a font, but it's consistent. And it's how I write, right? Style is just like that. And I kind of took that to heart because I read somewhere, and I can't remember where, that stylization is stuff that comes after realism. Because to stylize something, you have to stylize it consistently. You can't just draw a face square or with no perspective and then draw the next scene of that same face with a completely different style. It's not going to work, right? So, okay, let me chase realism real quick and see how far that gets me, which turned out to be the right decision. More exercises, just looking at negative space. Definitely get the book if you're trying to learn to draw. This is a good illustration of why books like these or instructors even are super important. And the explanation in the book is you're going to be able to draw this really well. You're going to be surprised how well you can draw this. But you're going to draw it upside down. And so, you know, paper is this way. The drawing is, you know, like that. And I drew it. And it's because I didn't understand, you know, what I was looking at. I wasn't sure what these lines were as I was drawing them. And so it's freeing, or it freed my mind from picturing what I think, you know, what a face looks like, what a nose looks like, what hands look like, what a jacket looks like. And that helps a lot. It's a great exercise, I thought. I can't remember what this was for. I think it had something to do with like getting hand-eye coordination right. That doesn't make any sense. If you want hand-eye coordination, play video games, right? Like, don't do whatever that exercise was. You'll see it if you read that book. More negative space stuff. This is super duper useful. This is why I do things in the first place. This is just me thinking of how to make an indoor plant system that waters itself. I watched this video on this YouTube channel called Practical Engineering, and it goes through, I guess, a series of videos actually, but it goes through how water and water pipes and water tanks and how all of our water infrastructure works, which is way more interesting than like school would have you believe. But yeah, I got super inspired by that. Silhouette drawings. I don't even know what this is, to be honest. I think I was just sitting in a bed, and you know, door, bed, nothingness, just sketching, trying to understand perspective and how lines work and all that good stuff. Started a sketch here. Like this. Started a sketch here on stairs. Didn't finish. Don't really care. I don't remember what this is from, but it's a blank, which I didn't think was useful back then, but I do now. This is just me life drawing. This is much better than I thought I could do. It was just kind of lucky, really. It was right after this lesson, actually, on cross-hatching. And so I guess maybe not lucky, but, you know, kind of just putting into practice what I was just learning. These next few drawings are in my old bedroom back in my parents' place. After the fact, I drew in these perspective lines. All this stuff I drew intuitively, just looking at the place. I'm just trying to figure out what is wrong. So then I went in and I did, you know, probably like 3 or 4 of these, just from different areas of the room. This one's like right on top of the table now. This one's, you know, in between. The original one was right above the bed. Here's another one with, you know, real close up on that table, and then really opening up the angle, how far out you can see. Here's something that you'll see a little later in the digital area. You know, a train on a picture, and I started drawing it. Same here. I started drawing this truck or tractor, and I stopped. At this point, this must have been like January or something. I decided I should have another city inside the game, Megaman Ancients, and so I started figuring out what might that look like. Excuse me. And yeah, I mean that second city is, I still don't know exactly what it looks like, but I'm a hell of a lot closer. I go back to the brush pen that I got a while back, and I start playing with it, with shading and whatnot, because I'm starting to feel kind of confident with perspective and contours and whatnot. And I'm still going through this book, right? Drawing on the right side of the brain. Drew my girlfriend as she was standing. Skull. More objects. At this point, it's like April. Jeez, I'm really getting into the brush pen and like trying to just shade with it, which I did by diluting the ink. And I had a couple of these water brush pens, so you could squeeze water from out of here. So I would fill these up with diluted black ink and shade with that. Pretty fun. Started getting to a little bit more in terms of shapes, and then slightly more complex shapes. Continuing on, just drawing my girlfriend, or still my girlfriend, or just whatever I'm looking at. And then more sketching. More sketching. Went on a trip to Philadelphia. Some more of the same place. I'm still working on kind of intuitively understanding perspective. Again, just intuitively, and then drawing lines. This is like the top of a mountain or something. There's like farms down below. Horizon. Just random stuff that I see around me. Starting to add just like characterization. Just some movement of stuff. Close-up shot. Just TV, medication. I don't even know what this stuff is. Oh, actually, I think those are refill packs. And it's still bent exactly the same way. I think I was going to my cousin's wedding for this, just in the airport. And I think I started drawing again, and I was just like, this isn't working. Just gave up. Sitting in my tiny little chair. I started getting back into the idea of concepting. It's more to explore mashing stuff together. Same with this. I'm just kind of drawing things that I've seen in my dreams. I think this is on the flight back from my cousin's wedding. Another one. Some more shading practice. I got some. Actually, I think that's when I got this pencil. Whatever. And you can shade more with that. It took a lot of time to make all those lines with that tiny little thing. This did not take very long at all, because you can do that. Just sitting down, back at home, Another flight. This was trying to find an apartment. I think I went back to the mechanical pencil for this one. More mechanical pencil right here and right here. This is like, I think this is nearing the end of this sketchbook. I was playing with more contrast here, right? Just trying to figure out what values things are at this point instead of just doing pure shading. Not just defining form, but also defining what the color of that form is, how much information is there. A sketch. We drove cross country, my girlfriend and I. Really cool trip. We went to a bunch of places. This is in Utah. Went to an Airbnb that it had a brick column that was curved just like this. Same trip. This is in Sequoia National Park, California. I was just sitting there. And I was like, all right, let me draw this. This is sick. Just the balcony view, a little bit more. FOV here. Or this is a photo study. Very few photo studies so far. This was a photo study as well, right here. Fun fact, this is a photo study of the guy who shot the launch atop a skyscraper photograph for. This took a really long time. I think we're getting to the end of this. That last one was in July. I don't know what. At your Diddy Kong spiking Pikachu down into the blast zone because, why not? What is this? Oh, just figure drawing. This was very cool. I drew out the original sketch with the Fudenosuke pens, or pen, this one. And then I drew the ink on top of that. I didn't have much of an idea what I was doing. I was just, playing. More figure desk. I think I was in my office. And then this brings us back to the end. This is the end of the book, which is somewhere in the middle. But one last office sketch. This is very little. I think there's like 60 pages in here. The other half of my drawing is in digital, which I'm about to show you. Now onto the digital side of stuff. This whole board is concept art for Megaman Ancients. Each of these little areas are different areas in the game. Right? So we hop into here, and these are the same images right here that I had from my notebook. I veered off from here to go into digital. Gave me a lot more freedom to start making other things, and so I did. This whole thing is the entrance area, and then this is like the outside of the entrance area. I was just doing a bit of storyboard work and kind of just trying to incorporate some of those Mega Man Legends 3 concept Reaver bots into some of this because it's cool. A lot of people put a lot of hard work into all of those, and I just wanted to continue it. Same over here, you can see these are from my notebook, and then these are just more defining what's inside, what's in Port City. I'm just trying to get to the feeling of it. I started making concepts for the second city and like the actual buildings, what the people like there were, and all this other stuff. Like what's the hospital look like? What do the buildings look like? More hospital, more of those buildings, just a random view of someone going into the hospital with broken glasses. I just wanted to see what it is like to draw broken glass. This is starting to get into 3D, Mega Man and the Reaver bots down there. Those are a bunch of Hanmaru. And then a little bit more, just a little bit of a train car, kind of what the storage area looks like. Yeah, just a serve bot for the hell of it. And then I started getting into what the rest of the game looks like. This is more of the sub-city, the second city that I was mentioning. It's just beginnings of more starting to happen here. And so I started getting a little bit more serious over here with story, with animation and characteristics, what the world is about. Some more of that over here, kind of defining what is part of this entire place. This is not accurate anymore. This is kind of inspired by the Mega Man Legends 1 and 2 concept art that they had, which obviously, back in those days you couldn't make this type of stuff. They were defining how 3D works back then. And then finally, I was gung-ho about story, defining kind of like what this lower quarry area looks like, kind of key story moments, things that'll be cool. At this point, I'm like, okay, this is useful, but not really useful, right? Because as an art director, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is what I want, right? Like, this is the feeling we're going for, right? But as a 3D modeler, how am I supposed to model any of this except for maybe the refractor over here, right? Like, as an environment artist, I might be like, why is there lava in the middle of their meeting? And they're just chill, they're all just good. So yeah, I was like, okay, all right, let me start to learn to draw. Let's skip forward back to where we were at the end of, or in the middle of the sketchbook. I was also doing digital stuff because it's just a lot more useful to be working in digital in terms of making the game. This is all still in pursuit of making Mega Man Ancients, which is a fan game of Mega Man Legends. This is only good because I had the answers there, right? There's an outline, there's shapes, they go in a certain way. I didn't understand why they went in that way, but I just copied it. And it looks freaking sick. And so then I tried another one in what I thought was a similar style. It's forward progress. Then I was like, okay, let me draw myself. This is also digital, but I started using color. I think I was thinking slightly about shadows. And this is cool. I was proud of it back then. I'm still proud of it now. Fun fact, this is called a Mandarin Duck. I really liked doing the hair here. There's so little here in terms of like solid structure. Actually, there's almost no solid structure. Continue photo studies. I was just looking for stuff to draw. It's just simple. This is obviously, the background is not simple at all. I felt about as bad, probably worse even, with this background as I did with this. And I failed with it, I failed with this too, but that's alright. I'm just trying to get, what does this look like? Launch atop a skyscraper. This took forever, like 7 hours or something like that. But I had to do something complex because I was just doing simple for such a while. Like there's so much simple. There's nothing. There's no background for the most of these. And this is digital stuff, but all the traditional stuff I was doing was also pretty similar, or similarly simple. This in the background is not simple, but I think this is when I started like thinking, I'm just trying to break out of the simple a little bit. I knew that breaking out of simple was bad, so I said, screw it. Let me do something absurdly complex, like 11 figures and a whole background that has just wild effects on it. And I will show myself how much I don't need to be doing complex right now, and that's what I did. I wasn't ready for complex, and of course that's not enough to get into my head, so I started doing this too. Moving back towards that direction of ports and cool water stuff. Not much to it. Still just photo studies, Is that electric? Or not electric. Is that train? Oh yeah, that's about it. This is my next sketchbook. I guess I'll go through that in a couple months once I fill it up. But that's all the stuff that I did over the last year uh, for learning to draw, and I'm at a point now. Let me show you some cool stuff that I've been doing recently. So this is my setup for concepting and storyboarding. I have cameras set up all over the place, and I can kind of just draw in place. Let me show you what I mean. This is just the drawing, right? But then there's the 3D environment. And so it does a lot of cheating for me. I don't have to deal with a lot of perspective. I can just throw down basic shapes. So I know what's going on and like what's going to be where. And then, I can change that as I want. But this stays as a record, what I was trying to do. This is what I've been up to. Megaman Ancients is probably going to take another year or two, but that's okay. That's alright. I didn't know how long of a journey this would be when I first started. And I don't know how long of a journey it's going to be until I'm done. So that's about it in terms of digital and traditional and what I've been doing for the past year to be able to make Megaman Ancients. I'm just happy to be making this type of progress towards it. Even though it's not, it's not like concrete progress. It's not like I've been making strides in concept art and story and gameplay and whatever else, all the other things that go into making a game. But hopefully this is kind of satisfying if you've been following along with progress. If you haven't, that's cool too. Go check out Megaman Legends. It's a great series of games. There's only 2 of them, plus a spin-off called Misadventures of Tron Bond. And yeah, I'll see you all next time with my next update. Hopefully a hell of a lot sooner than a year. Probably a couple months actually, maybe less even, because I've got some fun stuff cooking and I would like to share. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.